Last year, there was a band that came forward, took us by surprise, or perhaps by storm. Perhaps landing their first critical blow, their first major assault on their quest to attempt to crawl through the underground and make it to the surface. That band being an Abstract Illusion with their album Illuminate the Path. Originally something just spoken about very casually during a 5 recently released albums episode, which I really need to get back to. I know you guys have been telling me. I hear you. It's just been... But ever since then, these guys have become a bit of a phenomenon. Not so much within the entirety of the metal world, but at least within the prospects of this community. And that has been enough to really realize that they are in definite deservation of a full-length review for Illuminate the Path. Now, first of all, I need to preface this by saying that this is going to be kind of done in a different way. I'm not going to score this album, considering it was released last year and already made it to the top 50 albums of the year list, so there's no real need in doing so. But the first thing that I'll open up by saying is very simple. This album very much resembles and feels like falling in love all over again. It's like finding that very first band that perhaps got you into heavy metal, or finding a group that you now love to death for the first time and experiencing the splendor and experiencing those notes, those sounds for the first time. It is breath-stealing, this album. If you like a band such as Agalloch, for example, you are probably going to find a lot of things that you enjoy with this group here, and perhaps even a little tone of Vinder or some black metal as well. So, this album, this 7-track affair, 8 if you count the cover that is at the end, is one that has started with Breathe, Create, and Beauty, and this is a great way to give the following track, the second track, which is entitled Abode of a God, a lot of bite and a fair introduction to sort of understand that this band is going to take that creative liberty and slide you right in to what they do best, which is that pounding black metal style riffing that does have a little bit of that technical depth that's sort of laced interwoven within it. The Agalloch side is not so much one that is counterbalanced by some beauty, either that or some atmosphere. Instead, it's one that is shown a little bit more within the ferocious moments that Agalloch are able to sometimes offer, or within those structures that you heard on an album such as Ashes Against the Grain, where they were able to use that riff and the power of it to their advantage to deliver something that not only stayed in your mind, sort of like a hypnosis, but also able to stay within your soul and really breathe a fire into it, giving you further life. This is an album that has that capability, it has that power, and this opening track is one that is instantly going to be able to deliver that charm. But if you're not sold by track number 2, drop this planet of dust. The track number 3 is going to be the one that does that for you, considering its opening, considering how it just is able to open up and deliver a very soft moment that almost feels like emotions are going to start tugging at you. But then that black metal chug comes in, and it's able to deliver that Agalloch-style mystery once again. Now, I'm not trying to necessarily compare. An Abstract Illusion is their own beast within a realm of groups that are, somewhat attempting this style. It's not exactly something that is out of the world or, not ordinary. But it's instead one where it's what's kind of comprised within this package that makes it extraordinary, which makes it above and beyond the Call of Duty, considering it's very tightly packaged, it has a very good sound to it, and for a group that is relatively new to the scene, to hear this level of proficiency, to hear this level of expert, is kind of not something that you hear all the time. You instead have a bit of a gradual escalation process that leads to a band's best work, but an Abstract Illusion immediately kind of blindsides you with just how tight this album feels. Take a listen to Vacuum, for example, or go into the 16-minute finale, Skeletons of Light, and you are seeing the complete breadth of what they are able to do. Skeletons of Light especially, considering its 16-minute runtime, this is easily a track where perhaps some boredom would be able to creep in if it were any other band, considering that is a large space of time to attempt to accommodate to a listener. However, an Abstract Illusion instead dials into their large toolkit and is able to use all of their elements of pacing, their fantastic construction, not to mention their elegant sense of songwriting, in order to make each of the 16 minutes feel jam-packed and very tightly delivered to your ears. And based around that, this band is able to really create some magic, some sonic magic. Are you necessarily getting an eargasm from every song? Well, some may. There are some that may get it from only 1 or 2 tracks. Myself personally, where the eargasm really occurred was a couple of minutes after the whole entire album was complete. After the last notes of a fantastic Vendor cover, which is the final cut off of this disc, were able to finally breathe their last breaths. Those couple of moments directly afterward was when the eargasm occurred, because I knew it was over, and I knew that this album had just basically blown my mind and given me a real stern reason to scope out this band a little bit more. Now, the one thing that I will say is that I'm certainly campaigning in hopes that we will eventually get a CD version of this album. There is some that are available, but largely this is a digital scale offering. I hope that the band is able to offer this on other formats in the future, and perhaps that has happened considering the last time that I really inquired about this was maybe about a year ago. So it's been a while. There's been some time that has passed, and I've been a little bad whenever it comes to keeping up with things. So if that is the case, then someone please let me know so I can just give these guys my money, because this is an album that is certainly worth it. And it's an album that I think that you guys are going to find to be absolutely worth it as well. Whenever we talked about it last year, our praise was short because of the necessity of moving on within the episode. But it was something that basically outlined the fact that this band has all of the tools to become a major factor, or a group that many people can flock to whenever a new release is able to be dropped. And I still feel, a year later, that this album, not to mention this band, has that drawing power. And so, for those who have not yet been given the opportunity to scope out this album, I do have some links below in the comments, or excuse me, the description box, to provide you with the experience for the very first time. And I hope that you'll be able to come back and reflect upon your thoughts about this album in the comments below. Maybe tell me whether or not the magic worked on you also. Overall, in my opinion and to my knowledge, this is a beautiful work that certainly, for me at least, is going to stand the test of time, and it's going to always sort of be just like falling in love all over again, because it's the type of thing and the type of love that comes out of nowhere. It's the love that you're not expecting, the love that just comes into the picture, and then once you set your eyes on it, well, you're never going to let go. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. My name is coverkillernation, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.